October 2019. I was fit as a fiddle, feeling great, and I was feeling that great, I thought I would pop into the doctors to just get an MOT, just to prove how healthy and great I was feeling. So I popped into the doctors and asked them to do me an MOT, which he did. He was absolutely fine doing an MOT. So positive this MOT, he said he wanted to do a blood test, which was a PSA, prostate cancer blood test. I've not heard really much about prostate. The only thing I knew about prostate was the badges that they wear on TV and football matches, I'd say match of the day. And so I said, yeah, sure, no problem at all. Do the MOT. So did the MOT, and then a couple of days later, he got in touch with me and asked me to come back in. I thought nothing of it. I just thought it might just be something to do with the blood test, or didn't really think nothing of it. He said, I've got a slightly high PSA number. And when he was explaining to me, he said, the PSA test used to be, used to test at 7. And if it was back then, they wouldn't have tested me, but the number has come down now to, I think it was about 3. So I was just 3.1, so he said, I'm best testing you. So I said, okay, what does that mean? And he said, it means a finger up your bum. And I said, he said, you're okay with that? And I said, look, if it's about cancer, of course I am. So he done the test, and he put his finger up my bum, and he felt around, because the prostate is just at the top of your bum inside. And he felt around, and he said, I can feel it a little bit, but don't worry about it. I'll send off for tests, more tests for you, and away you go. So I was thinking, this is not a problem at all. I still wasn't thinking about cancer. He said, if it's a rate that most men at an older age, he said, you're very young, so it's probably not prostate cancer, very unlikely. And as the sort of time went on, my ideas about cancer changed. So the next stage was, after having a rectal examination, was to go into the hospital and have further tests and further scans and CTs and etc. So there's quite a lot of different tests that I had. And again, halfway through the tests, this was probably coming up to December now, mid-December, still wasn't worried about cancer. And then they said, oh, there's a couple of shadows, looks like on your prostate, we'll have to do a biopsy. So at this point I was thinking, oh, this is looking a bit dodgy. But again, still didn't think I had cancer. And then I asked my sisters, what did my dad die of? Because I wasn't sure what my dad died of. And they said, bowel cancer. So I went, oh, right, okay. But then they phoned me back up and said, actually, it wasn't bowel cancer, it was prostate cancer. And then I read up about the statistics of prostate cancer. In white men, it's 1 in 8. In black men, it's 1 in 4. They don't know why. So then I started thinking, oh, I might have cancer here. So that's when I started really thinking about, I've got cancer. I was starting to become convinced that I've got cancer, given that my dad had it, and the likelihood, because it runs in the family, that I've got it. Results came back, and they told me I had cancer, prostate cancer. So I was like, I was shocked, but I was okay with that, because I knew that the treatments for prostate cancer were quite good, and the advances were quite amazing. But I wasn't prepared for the next part of the story, which was my cancer was quite advanced in terms of it was on 2 sides of my prostate. The prostate's about the size of a walnut, and I had cancer on the edge of the top and the edge of the bottom. And they gave me 2 options. One is to remove my prostate, or I could try living with it, with the chance that the cancer may escape out of the bag, out of the prostate and into the other part of my body. So for me, I didn't think about it twice. It was take the prostate out. I didn't want cancer in me. So that was my decision, to have the prostate removed. I was still in shock about the diagnosis, it being sort of quite advanced, and you get what you call a Gleason score, which gives you the two different likelihoods: the likelihood for it to spread, and also the if you like, the density of it. So it was quite a no-brainer for me to get it removed. And that was sort of without thinking about, well, after I get it removed, what are the effects after that, which I'll come on to. So I had a successful prostatectomy, which is removal of the prostate, and it was quite. I've had one big operation on my ankle, but it was quite an easy operation, really. Obviously, I was asleep, and you have this big machine around you, and it's all done remotely. And you go into 4 parts of your body and you take it out the middle. But it was a really great success, so I was absolutely buzzing with that. And then came sort of the after effects of having that removed, which was you're not able to produce sperm anymore, and depending on when they've gone in, if there's been any rupture of your nerves, that could affect sort of being able to sort of ejaculate. Well, you can't ejaculate anyway after you've had your prostate removed, but it was erectile dysfunction and all those effects that come with that. Now, what happened after that was I sort of went, well, my prostate's removed now, that's great, I'm happy. But then I did suffer psychologically with not being able to ejaculate, because as a man, ejaculation was quite a big thing. So psychologically, that was a massive thing, with not being able to ejaculate anymore. I did go under sort of counselling for that, but didn't get the answers. Part and parcel of my recovery was I joined the prostate group, a Liverpool prostate group, which was really good, and other men talking about their journey and people who've been through what I've been through was really, really great. So that group was really, really good. But there was people didn't really want to talk about the after effects of having a prostatectomy. So I started a separate group which talked primarily about the after effects of having your prostate removed, and particularly around sex life. And that was a really good help as well. So that group's still going. Now what's happened since is, after I had my prostate removed, I was feeling really great, feeling really good, absolutely living life and feeling very, very grateful. In the summer of 2022, because I get regular checks, they were every 3 months, then every 6 months, and they become every year. On my 6-month check last summer, which was in the end of July in 2022, I was told that my prostate cancer had returned. Now that sort of confused me, because I was thinking, I've got no prostate, so how can it return? And what had happened before they removed the prostate, a cell or cells must have escaped, and that was the cause of my prostate cancer coming back. There was more cells, if you like, hanging around somewhere. That was a massive shock. That was more devastating than being told the first time I had cancer, because it just went straight to I haven't got long to live syndrome, and that was really, really difficult. I really, really struggled with the notion of my cancer returning after the joys of me being so-called cancer-free. In November 2022, to, I started radiotherapy. And they said there's a good chance that they'll be able to, if you like, zap the cancer through a session of radiotherapy sessions, which was 33 sessions of radiotherapy every day, one a day, so over 33 days. And that was quite an easy process, really. The thing about having the radiotherapy was the preparation. Preparation is just put an eminer inside you, and then going in for an X-ray basically each day. So really easy to do. And at this point, and I have avoided chemotherapy, so it was just the radiotherapy. So I did all those, and then it was just about crossing my fingers and hoping that the radiotherapy had hit the cells or hit the cancer cells. Recently got a result, so it went from 2.3, which was my reading when the cancer returned, to 0.05, which indicated that the radiotherapy had started to work, or was working. And then my last count was 0.02, which means I got a letter saying that it looks like it was successful. Now, people might ask me, so are you cancer free? I would never say I'm cancer free ever again. I would always say that I've got cancer, because I don't know where it is, whether it'll return, but I do survive every day. And I use that word quite purposely, survive. People use battle with cancer or fight cancer. I avoid those kind of words, because it's about survival for me, and surviving every day, and surviving cancer every day. And if I can survive every day, every year becomes a century, a decade, well, not a century, but certainly as long as I can live. It's about surviving every day for me.
Getting tested.
Okay. Well, there's two things really. One is get tested whether you've got symptoms or not. That is so important. I've met so many people who didn't have symptoms, who was in for something else, and then they found out they had it. I believe in America you get tested, you're offered a test at 40. In this country, you're supposed to be offered a test at 50. Obviously, I had prostate cancer in my 40s, and I know lots of men who've had it earlier than that, and in the 40s and beyond. There's so many options now for cancer, all kinds of cancer, but the trick is to go and get tested early on all cancers. Don't be afraid to ask to get tested. Even if you've got no symptoms, please get tested. From the doctor that first told me, to the surgeon and everybody in between, and the care that the nurses still provide now in terms of setting up groups, has been second to none. It really has. The Clatterbridge nurses, absolutely amazing. Everybody in the care world has been out of this world in terms of caring, and really caring, and asking the questions and giving you options and letting you know, if you do this, this is what this means. If you go down that path, this is what this means. So the options are always there. They won't force things down your throat. They'll let you choose. But they're great to talk to as well in terms of your options and where you go. So yeah, the nurses right through and the surgeon has absolutely been amazing. Stop being stubborn, men. Get tested.